Okay, tools to aid tariff analysis. Front and center right now. I assume most people here are either affected by tariffs, dealing with them on a daily basis, and or really want tools to help them out. So we'll go over through a few tariff simulation exercises. Uh, I won't give a huge spiel on BITE. I assume most of you guys know what we are. We're a software as a service platform. And we provide global trade management and compliance tools to our customers. Just a quick agenda here. We'll do a few introductions. I think Anne and I have probably met most everyone, but just in case we haven't, we'll just quickly kind of go through our backgrounds and then we'll get into the different components we want to look at today. We have a single operation stack tariff calculator or simulator. We'll go over our bulk tariff checking and simulation tools. We'll show you our visualization as well. This is not just visualization. There is some computation too that lets you look at different deltas. When I say the word delta, I mean a change in data over time. And then we'll show you a few tools and resources we have. We have a Notion page where we track our changes, as well as a Slack channel which you can join in order to get our latest data updates. And so, yeah, just real quick, Anne and I started BITE a little over 2 years ago. My background is on the customs enforcement side. I worked for HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, for the early part of my career on the export control side of things, working primarily on transnational criminal organizations, investigations for sensitive technology. And then I started a company where we provided data science and CPWMD consulting to the US government. And that's where I met Anne.
Yep. And so my background is more on the data side. So primarily around global data sets affecting business and health. And as Tarek said, we met working at his previous company, working on supply chain, big data sets, trade data, and now we've been building BITE for the last 2 years.
Thanks, Anne. So yeah, let's run through a couple of slides here just to show you guys what we're going to demonstrate on the webinar today. We'll look at some high volume tariff simulations. We'll show the duty and tariff values over time and kind of look at how we can provide better tools for sourcing compliance and then look at the stat and give you some background into how we do the stacked tariff calculations. So many of you know exactly the state of affairs. Even if you're not in it daily, one look at the front page of a news website tells you what's going on. Rapid change in the industry, multiple exclusion and exemptions apply. It's really incumbent on global trade professionals to help the company bottom line, by kind of getting accurate HTS codes and tariffs and duties onto the right paperwork and calculated efficiently. The legal execution dates are hard to track. We know that there's various posts coming out that are the beginnings of the tariff and duty discussion, but when they actually get executed, via the Federal Registry, CSMS messages, there's quite a bit that kind of goes into tracking those dates. And then archival data is key. Looking back at what a tariff was, over time, and looking back at how, for example, if IEEPA gets annulled, from a tariff perspective, how do I go back? You need the archive data. In the data world, it's a really important part of any calculation, and we'll walk you through how that shows up on BITE. So the first tool we'll show is our single operation stack tariff simulator. We'll go through a few examples with that. So show up by the exclusions, show you how we get the AD/CVD flags in as well. And then we'll show you our white label tool. In this case, if you're a Seinfeld fan, you will like you might love the fake company we've used. But yeah, we'll kind of show you how that works, how you can put this tool behind your IT systems in your own company. And then we'll do the bulk tariff. We'll look at uploading, a number of different HTS codes and getting the output, and not only getting it, but downloading it to a CSV as well. And then we'll go into visualization. We'll show you how to look at some of that bulk tariff data, those computations, how to analyze them. We have a customizable visualization tool that lets you do that on the fly. And then we'll let you know how to stay up to date with both our data and product changes. We're pushing changes every week, both on the data and a software side. And, it's important to keep up with those. And yeah, I think good to go into the demo. That's all, Anne.
Thanks, Tarek. And yeah, I recognize a lot of names who have signed in and who are participating. So thank you so much for being here. As Tarek mentioned at the beginning, there is a Q&A box. So if there are questions that come up throughout the demo, please feel free to drop them in there and we'll get those answered. And with that, I will go ahead and share my screen. And I'll start at the very beginning just in case after this you want to go try it out yourself. So our website is bitedata.io. You can start a free trial and start using these tools right away. So like I said, after this webinar concludes, you can sign in. In this case, I'll just go ahead and log in. So starting off with our single operation tariff tool, as Tarek said, come over to this import screening and check the tariff. And many people, I think, already have access to this, but that's how you access the tool. And then you can just go ahead and type in your 10-digit HTS code. It has to be 10 digits. You will get a warning if it's not a correct code or if it's not 10 digits. You can then also add your country. You can always change your product value here and your transportation method as well. And also your input, you're changing your entry date and loading date. So you can keep these defaulted to today, or you can change them back, as Tarek said, to look at previous dates. And I'll go into that a bit more. You may have noticed that initially this was not here. So if there are additional inputs needed, depending on your code, around those 232s, as many of you are probably familiar with, you may get a slider that pops up here. You can adjust this a few different ways. So you can either use the slider, or if you know the exact value of your input, you can put it in that way and it will adjust the slider for you. You can see as I'm adjusting this, the numbers are changing in real time down here. So those do adjust, but then you can also always click run check and run that check just to make sure that it's applied down below. So scrolling down a little bit further, we always include the HTS description here. So if you do have any questions about the code that you put in this case, you can see mine's an other. So you can see what that looks like there. And then you get the stacked tariff. So we have section 301, there are 201s, IEEPAs, reciprocal, section 232. And so all of that then gets applied down below here. So we have our codes, the percentages, and then you can see that the value is divided based on the amount that I put in up here and the percent value. So that's applied on each line. And then over here on the right, we have our cost summary. So this is broken down into the base duty, additional duty, and then we have the total duties and fees here, and then the total cost. Also, this bright yellow box down here is the potential anti-dumping. So this isn't saying that you're, within the scope or anything. It's just saying that there is a potential flag. So we recommend that you then either use the BITE import screening tool or whatever tool you typically use to go investigate if you have any anti-dumping or countervailing duty cases on this transaction. You can also click Explain Results. So this is an on-demand feature. It reads through the CSMS guidance and provides a summary of everything that occurred up here. So it won't conflict with up here. It won't change. This is your answer, but this is just an additional resource to help understand why these codes were applied. As I said, you can always change this. So if you wanted to go back and see what this was back on October 1st, you can run that and see how it changes, if it changes at all. Uh, and you can also save. So I'll say this is one of the most overlooked features of the tool, is the ability to click save here. And you can put in whatever you want as the name. So you can put in the code if you have a certain customer or a certain business unit. You can put that in as well. You can also share it with anyone else who's on your team, and this will send a notification to them. Another question that commonly comes up is how do you share with someone outside of the platform? So this share function here is on your team that also has a BITE account. If you want to share outside, I will show you how to do that. So here I'm going to click submit. And I have successfully created a new case. So what that means is this ticket is this checking of the tariff is now saved down here in my saved work. So over on the left-hand side, analytics, saved work, and I can click there and we see the code that I just entered along with the parts. So I will open that up. And you have all the inputs that you initially put in at the top, as well as the AI explanation and all of the same codes. So from here, you can download this and it saves to a PDF, which I'll just open right here so you can see. And this again is exactly what was on that screen. And then you can email this or save it in whatever information system that you have. Also on this ticket, once you've saved a tariff, you can also upload additional documents, track the activity. So if you added a document or added something else to it, and then you can also just review exactly what type of ticket it is, and anything else that you need to do on that ticket. From here, also on this saved work, especially when you're working with other people on the team, you can input comments. So this was a revision, whatever you need to comment there, and then you have that with a timestamp. You can also favorite or enable notifications and sign up for email or in-app notifications. Just heading back to my check tariff just to show one more thing. So if you put in an HTS code and there are potential exemptions, so in this case, this is one of the new semiconductor codes. So I think we're all aware that there are quite a few exemptions, exclusions that you can apply to this. So those are always down in this potential exclusions area. So let's say as BITE, we're a startup, so I'm going to toggle that one on. And when I apply that, I then it turns on the aluminum new derivative. So this wasn't here before. My slider up here wasn't here before because I didn't need to report the aluminum percent if I was claiming the semiconductor. But now that I've applied my exclusion, I can now adjust based on my aluminum percent and get the correct tariff codes down below. All right. So with that, I will move on to the white label tool, which has all of the same functions. So I will go ahead and open that up and give you, oops, here we go. So in this case, I will clear it. So again, as Tariff said, you can recognize the logo up here. But this does function the exact same way as the tariff tool. So again, I'll put in my HTS code and I'll put in France. You can adjust the product value, transportation method, all the same slider and value. So from here, instead of saving this to your saved work or allowing customers to save it to their saved work, you can download directly, and this downloads that same PDF document. And then you can clear and run another check. So as you can see up here in the URL, it doesn't say BITE anywhere. So you can you set this up behind your URL and allow people to access it there.
Yep. And quickly to add, if you do want this, we help with a lot of the security configs, and we have a team that helps to integrate the tool onto your company's system, whether it's a TMS or any other platform, whether you're Microsoft 365 apps, things like that. So that's kind of one thing. And then on our roadmap as well, on our main site, we are going to deploy a toggle button for light and dark mode. We've had a few comments come back about how it's a bit hard to see the exclusions and stuff. So for those of you that absolutely despise our dark mode, we'll be changing that up pretty soon.
I think you just made a few people happy, Tariq, so great. So heading back away from the white label, this just, again, is available. If you're interested, please feel free to let us know. But heading back into BITE now, I think one of the common things is how can we do this in bulk? So how can we run multiple HTS codes at one time and get this same output? And we now have that function. So over under tools, yeah.
And before we go there, we've got a few questions, I think, that
Okay.
let's
Awesome.
jump into here. So one of them is for the aluminum percentage. I think this is probably the main question. Can we enter a dollar value instead of a percentage?
Yes. So this, yep, still have it open. So this one is a percentage, and you can type in the percentage, or you can type in the dollar value. So if it's only $10, you can type in 10, and that will automatically convert to 1%.
Okay, cool.
And that's based on the product value up here, just to clarify where that 1% is coming from.
Thanks. I think that was the main question on the on the data side. So yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Anne. Please keep going.
No, perfect. Oh, and I see some that you've been answering, Tarek. Yes, sorry, you don't have to enter periods in here. You can enter them or not. Either way, it works. Okay, so heading over to the BITE database here. So BITE database, for now, for the purposes of this webinar, we'll just ignore everything that says entities, and we'll look right at my tariffs here. So you can set up multiple databases. And this, what a database is just a list of tariffs in bulk. So to create a new database, you click database, bulk tariff. You can enter a description, webinar, and select tariffs down here and click next. And then there is a template right here in the application, so you don't have to keep a template. You just download it here, and it has the headers. And then once you've downloaded that and put your data in, you can then upload it. And I will upload one that I've done already and hit next. And then you can set up your screening frequency once, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. In this case, I'll just do once. I just, have one container coming in, and I need to do a bulk review of those tariffs. So when that happens, you can see I get my green flag down here saying that my database has been set up. And let's see, I called it bulk. So you can search against your databases as well. So bulk tariff. And here is mine saying that it's never been updated because it's brand new. You can see others that we've been working on and adding to when they were updated. So that's all available in this view. In this case, I uploaded 200 items, and this is the view once it's uploaded. You have your HTS, your country, the status here is new. And then you can start to see what the tariff implications are. And if I click open on one, um, then this view obviously looks very familiar. This looks just like the single operation tool. In this case, I'm clicking up here and nothing's happening. And that's because this is a locked view. If you want to make any changes, then you can enter a live mode. And let's say my loading date I realized was actually November 5th. You can do that and save the changes. And then that will save and reflect in your database. Again, you can download this as well as a single document, just the same PDF that you would have done before. But you can also now export this entire database as well. And I think that is what's most exciting. So up here, you can export. This puts it in a CSV that then you can open in your own, in your Excel or whatever CSV you use. Other things here, you can add single tariffs to your database. You can also add bulk tariffs. So to import additional tariffs, it's the same template. So you can continue adding to your database. If, let's say, you have a database for, as I said, a business unit or a customer, you can continue to add to it. And then you can also see the database history. So in this case, I've uploaded them and I've done my tariff calculation. You can also do an on-demand check if you wanted to run that database again. I'm trying to think, Tarek. That's all the features that I have. Sorry. You can also you can move these through kind of a workflow. So if you're working on a team and you have someone who has a question, you can always change this to be like a quarantined or a barred as a review process with your team. You can set these up however you want to use them and work them through this workflow to get a second set of eyes on them as well.
And we have a question here around if there has been an update, how can we identify the updates? And
in the actual database, I'm assuming is the question. You will get a notification if anything has changed. So that will come the similar to how the saved work and monitor tickets work.
Yeah. So I guess if you could click on one and we do have a column change coming in pretty soon where we'll be able to we'll add a recent update checkbox. So if you do want to filter by updated line items, you can do that in the you'll be able to see that in the table.
Yeah, you'll get a notification. Then also there's this little bell up here across the application. You can see some of my notifications are more related to entities, but if there are tariff updates, then those would come in here as well.
Yep. And yeah, I think that touches on a question here. Are my tariff codes being monitored for future changes? If so, do I get an alert? Yes, you can enable alerts for each of these that you're interested in. As we said as well, you will get, we will have that column for a rescreened entity that is updated in that table. And then do we have an example of the bulk template? I know we didn't want to switch to Excel, but it might be helpful to show. And
Sure.
I think let's just do it. Let's just show the template and then the output as well.
Yes.
I think it's good for people to see the line items for.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just always feel bad making people dizzy when I'm opening different windows, but let's do it. And this is a good, I can also touch on how the template works. So this is the template as it stands right now. So HTS code and country of origin are required fields. The rest of the fields will be filled in with placeholder data the same way when you open the single operation tool, product value already says $1,000. So if you don't enter something in, then a placeholder value will be put in there for you. Um, a few changes that are coming here. One, right now there's only one column to enter the material weight or amount. For those breakout sliders, we are adding the option to be able to put in the second one, which obviously is required for some codes. And then also this product code. So this is if you have SKUs, again, we'll get into this a little bit more in the visualization, but it is helpful to track over time if you have some kind of a product code in there as well. So this is what the template looks like. Happy to answer any questions on that if they come up. And then let me just open an export as well.
And I'll try to answer some questions as you do that. A question on the can you only run tariffs being imported to the US? Can you run tariffs for exports to other to see their tariffs? Unfortunately, no, we're just doing the US tariffs right now. We do have Canada and Mexico that we're going to bring online in the next few months, but for now, just US. And you mentioned there's a tool in BITE to check the scope of ADCVD. Yes, we do. That's in a separate module. If we have time, we can certainly show that. And then I guess this next question kind of might make us show it, but this assumes you already know the HTS. What if you're not sure of what the code applies? Yeah, we've got an HTS code generator as well. And yeah, I guess time permitting, and maybe we can just kind of touch on those two in our import screening flow.
Sure, yeah, definitely. So this is the output from the tariff tool. You can see this first line is the box numbers from the 7501. And then here we have transaction number. So what this aligns to is whatever line was on your initial input. So we do track, even if you don't have a product code, you can see here, this was my line 1, which the code was 35061050. And you can see the different breakouts and the rate by line, the duty amount, other fees, and so total entered value is 2,000 broken across all of those lines, and then the total amount and the product code here. And so this is what that output looks like. And this is what then we can use to show the change over time.
Thanks, Anne. One other question here. I think maybe just to touch on it a bit more. Are my tariff codes being monitored for future changes? And if so, do I get an alert? I think I didn't answer the future changes section. So you do have the ability to rescreen all of your data. There's a function that we called rescreening, but it's basically a check on the HTS code to see if there's been a change to the tariff or duty. You can you manage when you want that rescreening process to occur, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, etc. And when that rescreen occurs and there's an update, you get a notification. We also are providing a daily email that provides, or if not, we're going to set it up pretty soon, that provides the breakdown of all your checks in your database. So it'll say, you know, you had these many from yesterday, you've added these many, these HTS codes got rescreened. So that daily email will come out to your to you. And then we have another question here. I think I missed it. Do you have functionality to add in FTA?
Yes, I can show you how that works. So if we, sorry, the Zoom is in the way here. Okay, so on the single check, you can do that. down here. So we can see here that FTAs appear when they are applicable, and then you can toggle them on and off. And so that's how that works. And then that is something that is getting added also to the bulk checker. So there will be a column for like if you know that an FTA applies, you can put an indicator there and that will apply automatically in the bulk tool as well.
And yeah, just I guess a good question in general is, well, we have a video summary. Yes, I'm pretty sure we are recording. It does say recording. Yep. So we'll send out a link to all the participants with the video recording once we get done.
Great. So with that, now that we have looked at the single operation in the bulk and the export, I will go ahead and share a different screen that shows the bulk tool, or sorry, the visualization tool. So let me share. So this is data that I output from the bulk tool. So from the BITE database, I ran all my tariffs across all of my dates, and I put it into this visualization. This is 100% customizable, so you can change the visualizations, you can change if you really don't care for some reason about 301 tariffs, that can come out. But just walking through this, we can see my duty paid by month. This is total duty over time. And then down here we have total duty by product, by different tariff regimes or lists. We can see different amounts paid. All of these charts are also interactive. So if I really wanted to look at, let's say, like Delta 214 is my product code, I can just click there and then update across all of the visualizations. So as we said, this does include calculation, so you can see my change in duty over time depending on the date. I'm just going to get rid of that to keep going through the entire visualization. So taking a look down here, we can see the changes again over time based on date here. And other just interesting things that a lot of people are looking at is the impact of your country of origin on your tariffs. So in this case, China is my number one kind of impact. So if additional tariffs are added onto China, I know that that's going to have a big impact on me, second to Canada. Also, highest frequency HTS code. So this is again based on data that I've imported. These are my HS codes, and this is how often I'm importing them. And then again, highest frequency, but this time by Chapter 99 codes. We can also see, but again, by different tariff type down here, IEEPA 301, 232 is how that's changed over time throughout the year. And these were all 2025. And then down here, I have my wishful thinking, my potential IEEPA refunds. So if that does come through, I can quickly take an eyeball at what those totals will be. So again, you can also pick by entry date. So if you wanted to look, on Christmas versus in June, you can always go in and select that, and it updates across all of the visualizations to show what the duty was on that day. And as I said, this is all customizable, so you can set it up to look by product code or by HS code. I like to dig in deep to the change over time personally, but this is available as well. Again, all based on the bulk output. right. I'll pause there just to make sure there aren't any questions, Tark. I'm not sure if you're still watching those, but I can hop back and answer some of the other questions. I saw one about ADCVD scope and then the classification as well.
Yeah, I guess maybe we'll give everyone a second here. The goals of the visualization are to provide you with, intelligence around the tariffs and what's happened over time. Um, and they are, this is not a very in-depth dashboard. We can build these so that you do see, for a single HTS code, for example, right? You can focus on the delta over time, week by week, month by month. It's really as customizable as you kind of want it to be. And the hypothesis, we can help with the hypothesis, the thing that you want to see. We make these quite a bit, and we're happy to navigate and help people both learn how to use the dashboard, get the data in, and then chop and change based on what their company needs. We've had some really good feedback, especially from the C-suite as well. If you're reporting up to the C-suite and they need these kind of numbers, it is very easy to get this into a report. And generally that level of the business does tend to like it. All right.
Great.
Yeah, maybe we move to just a couple of the import tools, and
Sure. Let's just make sure I'm going to share the correct screen. All right. All right. So, yes. The initial code that I put in, I'll start with the ADCVD. So this code that I put in here, I had China. So I did get my flag down here saying there's a potential anti-dumping. So it says to visit the BITE import screening tool. So that is over under import screening. If we click screen here, you can put in the code and again, country of origin. And this is screening against a lot more than just anti-dumping. So it's screening against forced labor, PGA codes, other ESG, environmental social governance lists. So all of those you can see here. If you did want to just screen against anti-dumping, you can select that. Also consumer protection as well. So you can see kind of the buckets of data here that you're screening against. All of the lists are also available here. But in this case, if I come down to my anti-dumping, I can open that. You can then open here, see the product description. You can see the case number, as well as scrolling down the order number, the official case name, and then there is all of the HES codes that apply, current rates. So you can see all of that in there. Let me just open. So here, you can also, there is a link here out to the trade.gov website. So if you did want to dig deeper into the scope there, you can, this just opens right up to that website. You can click out and start looking at the scope there. And then the classification. So if you don't know your HS code and you're coming in to use the tariff tool, you can always come over here to classify and enter a product name or product description. So here you can put as specific or not as as you have. I know it's sometimes hard to get good product descriptions. We often test against questions from the broker's exam. So in this case, I have a pretty detailed product description here, an unadorned basket constructed of interwoven 6mm wide plastic strips. And so I can hit submit or press enter. And the first question is always a grounding question. So it will ask kind of a yes or no, are we even in the right realm? Doesn't usually take this long, so not sure if this is my internet or if this is a
Yeah, I just did a couple and it seemed to work for me.
So it's just my luck on a live presentation. Let me uh, put in a different one and see how that goes. It may be my internet isn't cooperating right now.
Yeah, I just ran one. I can.
Okay, why don't you take over?
That's better. There we go. Here's activated charcoal, coconut husks. Uh, and it, in this case, given that it's a good description, um, it it ends up, providing the HTS pretty quickly here. You've got the final HTS. We do bring in the chapter notes. If there are cross rulings, we do have those as well. So feedback-based model, it'll generally kind of, ask you a set of questions and then provide that 10-digit with the recommended description as well. So yeah, okay. I think that was most of, we hit the 45-minute mark. And yeah, maybe if there's any Q&A or things that that we can answer. I see there's a question here.
And while we're waiting for questions, I will post the broker credit in the chat now.
Yeah.
So that will be available. If anything comes up, please feel free to reach out. But while we're getting final questions, I will post that now.
Okay. Most of the time, people don't know what they are importing. HTS is always wrong. Yep, it is, unfortunately. And yeah, it's like, I wonder if the current, I won't muse on predictions, but I wonder if this current global trade fiasco will cause people to want to be a bit more accurate, hopefully. Um, Alternatively, they can use tools like BITE to get the HTS codes, and you can tell your customers that, hey, we're going to fine you $1 every time you have the wrong HTS code. It goes into the happy hour jar.
And I've got a request to verbally announce the continuing education code. So it is NEI 0120266 EVQR. And you can always email me as well, and I can send the link out with that code if anyone needs it. And I'm just gonna put my email in the chat as well. Yeah, there we go. So my email is in the chat. Feel free to email me with questions about that code or with questions about the tool anytime. I'm happy to follow up over email.
And just really quick on pricing as well. I know that always comes up. The single tariff checker, the first tool Anne showed, is $5 per user per month. We started off pretty low, and the HTS code and the import screen tool you saw is $64 a month. Yeah, and we can provide pricing on everything else. The bulk tariff checker is $256 per user per month. And the Notion page.
Yep.
Do you want to quickly show that and the Slack channel?
Yes.
Okay.
So
we post all the updates, things that are coming up, any changes to the tool. We have a page where you can grab those. We'll post that here as well.
Oh. And the Notion page currently is in dark mode, but you can make it in light mode. This is just a personal preference of mine. So you can make this be in light mode. It's not always dark. And so what this is, you can see the upcoming changes. You can see we're keeping an eye on these Taiwan tariffs with no date attached there, but any upcoming changes as well as all recent changes. So you can track if we've fixed a bug or refreshed data or if there's regulatory change. So all of that is available. You can always load more, and this goes all the way back to the beginning of July when the tool was launched. So you can see all the changes made over time. I'll quickly scroll through those down to resources. So we do have links to the CSMS guidance, ACE portal, link to BITE, Federal Register, and additional information there. Also, the Slack channel, I will go ahead and share. And the Slack channel allows you to, we post tariff updates. So if there's new regulation, if anything has changed. So you can join the Slack channel and just join the tariff team and you can, or the tariff channel, and you can see all of the updates there. Also, if you did want to track any other anti-dumping, PGA codes, or high-risk entities, you can pick and choose which channels you join and get notified on and follow data updates there as well.
Yeah, and we can send out an email after this to everyone with a link to the recording, a link to the Notion page, and then a link to the Slack channel so you can join that as well. And in there as well, you can ask us questions in the Slack channel. You'll find Anne and I and other people in the company that you can get information from right away. Cool. Okay. I don't see any other questions. If you're at the NCBFAA conference, we'll have a booth out there. If you're a customer, I think we're going to have T-shirts printed. I can send my email. A Star Wars theme this year. Okay. Cool. All right, we'll give you guys back 10 minutes here. Really appreciate everyone's time and for joining us. We'll follow up with an email to everyone, and any questions, anytime, please reach out to Anne and I. And yeah, have a lovely day, folks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anne.